Welcome to yoga. You won't need anything for your practice today. So when you're ready, meet me in a hero pose, sitting on your shins. Let's begin with just rolling out our wrists. So make your hands into fists and just roll out big circles in one direction, inviting blood flow and movement. And then switch direction. Noticing any interesting sensations or extra tightness that you feel. Then release your fists and just shake out your hands like you were trying to shake water off your fingertips. Great. Now meet me in child's pose. Separate your knees as wide as comfortable. Walk your hands out forward so you can surrender your upper body down onto the mat. With your forehead resting on your mat or on stacked wrists, take about 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose. Each inhale a little longer, each exhale a little deeper. So from here, inch your right hand off the right side of your mat, and then walk your left hand all the way over to place on top of your right hand. You should feel a lot of length in your left side body. Breathe into that. Creating space and releasing tension with each breath. Then walk your hands back through center to switch sides. Left hand comes off the left side of your mat. Right hand goes all the way over to place on top of your left hand. Then breathe into your whole right side body. So walk your hands back to center and rise up into a tabletop on your hands and knees. And to go deeper into the wrists and forearms, turn your hands around so your fingertips point towards your knees. And gently rock front and back, inviting an opening into the undersides of your forearms. Now turn your hands back around and this time flip your palms up, placing the tops of your hands on your mat, fingers pointing towards your knees. And continue that gentle rocking motion. Be careful that you're not shrugging or tensing in your shoulders or clenching your jaw. Focus on maintaining a deep breath and really working within the body part that we're on. Now return your palms back down to the mat and go ahead and sit back on your heels for this next one. Take your hands into 2 fists and place your fists together as if you were punching them together. Now place the tops of your hands, even your forearms, down onto the mat. Then begin to straighten out your arms, keeping the tops of your hands on the mat, and you can relax your fists so your fingers uncurl just slightly. That's okay. So alternate between straightening out and bending your arms for just a few more deep breaths. Great. Take a seat on your heels, shake out your hands. Then come back into a tabletop, but fan your fingers out wide and grip in through your whole hand using the pads of your fingers. For a puppy dog pose, keep your hips above your knees and walk your hands forward as you melt your chest and forehead down to the mat. And you should feel a lot of tightness releasing from your chest, shoulders, and triceps. 3, 2, 1. Slide your hips back to your heels for child's pose. And in this child's pose, thread your right arm underneath you so you're lying down on your right shoulder, and use your breath to massage the space between your shoulder blades and along your upper back. Then replace your right hand to thread your left arm underneath, lying down on your left shoulder. Breath is deep to release tension. Then come back to center, rise up into a tabletop, and make your way back to downward facing dog. Yogi hands gripping into the mat. Hips lifting up and back as you press your chest towards your thighs. Then take a walk to the top of your mat for a deep forward fold. With your feet hip distance, a generous bend in your knees, slide your hands under your feet, palms facing up so much that your toes come all the way up to your wrists. Bend your knees as much as you need to make this happen. Then relax your neck so your head can hang heavy, and shift your weight around in your feet so you're smashing your hands. This is called gorilla pose, and the compression from your feet on your hands and wrists is very healing, especially after a practice where you spent a lot of time pressing into your hands. So release and shake out your hands. Then take a seat and come to lie down on your back. And we'll set up for a bridge pose. So place your feet flat on your mat, knees bent. Pull your heels in so your fingertips can just barely graze your heels. You want your feet and knees hip distance so your legs are parallel coming out of your hip sockets. Tuck your tailbone up to the ceiling to flatten out your lower back. Then lift your hips up as you press your knees forward into a bridge pose. Continue lifting your hips up, so much that you can shimmy your shoulders underneath you and interlace your hands together. Then press your pinkies into the mat, lifting up through your chest and your hips. Anchor your weight down evenly through your feet for 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower your hips down as you release your hands. Once your hips come all the way down, bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall open like butterfly legs. And take your arms overhead, touch your fingers together, and let your elbows fall open, so you look like a figure 8. And relax everything as you feel your inner thighs open and your chest relax. Namaste.